Can you hear me clearly? Can you hear me clearly? I share my screen, then can you share the tutorial page as well? How many people are there? Only 48. Let's wait about 5 minutes for join other students, then inform that students to join immediately, then they will start.
Recording stopped.
I hope you can see my screen right now. Put into the chat or ask directly, then I will respond. I think in the lecture, during the lecture, file handling, all the theory parts are covered. So then we will get the practical side of this one. Then I'll explain about uh, what what's the file handling. You all know what's a file, right? File is any text document, any other files with different extensions. Then all the files, there are 4 things we can do with the files. We can read from a file, then we can write to a file, this output, we'll even say input, then we can append. Append means merging something to the file, which means there is some content inside the file. Without wasting that information, we can merge a new thing to the file. This is appending. Then updating file means we are not adding anything. We are changing something inside the file. These are the four main operations we can do files. Then let's take one by one. It's not hard part. Then let's take opening file. Before that, I will create a file. I think I shared the entire screen. You cannot see my screen or CMD or whatever. Please chat out. Open my can. I create a file, simple file. Do with me business as usual. Then open your notepad. Open the notepad and we will create a very basic text file. Create a file with the text. Create a file with this is the this is the tutorial for programming or whatever. You can use anything, include your text file, then out, out, file. Anything you can include to your text file. I added some space because that's one thing here we will discuss there. I added a space as well. Then save the file as a normal text file. Save my desktop. The desktop I will save as a file link, txt or whatever. To me, just open the notepad or your type in application, then type whatever. I'll add some dummy text. Then after that, save the file to any location. Then we will access this file. Upcoming activities. Okay, I share my entire screen again. I think you can see the text file and as well as the tutorial file. Comment straight. Okay, right. I did this one, then open the notepad, add some dummy text and save your file as a text file in any location. your computer. I added this file into my desktop. After that, I explained about there are four main things we can do with the files. Then first one is opening the file. Let's close the file. Next file. Then for open function is built-in function in the Python. Then open is the function name. We are using open for open any file. Then we are using open file. Then this is the file name. The access mode. I will explain about the access mode later. Then this is the command structure. I saved the whole content of the file to file underscore object variable. Let's that code part on the notepad again. Open the notepad, then we'll write some Python code for that. File content, right? File object. File underscore object. This one is I'm using open function for that. Then quotation marks at the file name, which is file handling.txt. You can use your file name, file handling.txt. This is the way for opening a file. Did you get the point? If you have any questions, please ask. This is the inbuilt function in the Python for opening the file. I'll explain about access modes later. Normally, we are using open file name as this .txt. Extension is you should use extension as well. Then we will save this one as a Python file. I'll save as code file.py files. Then save. So run the file, open the CMD as usual. CMD, then go to your desktop, Python, what's the file name, code file.py. py. Nothing happens. Why is that? We are opening the file, but we are not printing anything, right? Then the CMD will get empty screen. For do that, we are using read function. Okay, this is also an inbuilt function in the Python. Then this is my object, file object, using file underscore object as a variable name. Then f.read. F.read means file object.read. The read function is used for reading content. Then I stored the whole content, the content variable. After that, content is my file underscore object dot read. It is a read function. Then save. In this case, we are opening file called file handling.txt. This is a object name, file underscore object. We are assigning a variable. This file object dot read function, we can store the content to the content parameter. Then we can print that content. Save. Okay. And again, this is the whole content of our text file. Okay, try this one. Okay. If you have any question or any clarification, please ask. This is not a hard part. Create a text file with any content, then create our file with this one. Then I use open function for opening a file, then stored in the object or file object. In this case, file underscore object is the variable name. Then object dot read function is used for reading the whole content. I save in the whole content into the content variable. Variable name is content. Then I printed the content. Then the CMD, I can see the whole document content. Please do with me, then you can see what's the output. See that I added a space in the text file. Similarly, in the CMD, printed the space as well, including spaces. We are getting the whole, including anything. Whatever we are adding to the text file, we are getting the same content. This case, you can use any content for your text file. I think all good. Then then this is the read function for read content. What about access mode? I didn't mention any access mode with the open file, open function. Then after a comma, we can use any access as mode. By default, I didn't mention. Then by default, without access mode, this is the read mode, reading mode. There are mainly 4 modes. There are other modes as well. There. First one is reading mode. Reading mode means open the file, but we can only read. We cannot write to the function, not the function, write to the text. We cannot edit or delete or append. We only can read. Then R means reading mode. If you add W means writing. We can override the file. In this case, reading is the default mode. That's why we are getting the output without any issue. But if we add W, this is writing mode, then only for writing. Okay. Open a file for writing only. Then overriding the content. Be careful about using the right function. If you will see it later. happening inside the writing mode, then overriding the older thing with the new content. But if the file does not exist, don't worry, file will be created automatically. If the file is not available, then file will be created. After that, our content will be right to the will create a title. Another one is A. A means amend. Not amend, append. Append means adding something new without losing the whole content. For example, this is remaining, also adding our new content in the append mode. So also if file does not exist, creating a new file and writing. R plus means open a file, both read and write. This allows for both reading and writing. Always the pointer is beginning. Let's see the differences. Then this is the file content. Then my code file. Default thing is read mode. That's why we are getting the whole content. If I add the read mode, nothing will change. Always remember that the mode should be within the codes. That's why we are getting some errors. Now it's fine. Default mode is reading. Then if I add R as a mode, nothing will be changed. Then if I add write as a mode, what will be the out? Not write. This is reading, right? Then this is the reading content. Reading file is this one. I'll finish the reading first. My mode is reading. If I add the dot read function and print in the content, all the things will be printed out, right? But I want print line by line. Suppose I want to print line by line. In this case, I can use read line function. Read line means reading a line at once. Then read line means I remove that. Then directly I'm printing file of the read. Not read. reading one line each time. Still output. This is the tutorial form. This is the first line, right? This is the first line in our text file. What if I want print another line? I can duplicate. Print another read line. Save and see them. This is the tutorial for DA1142. I am getting this line as well, this line and this line. Two lines. I can use read line function for read a line at a time. Did you get the point? If I add this one two more times, then there are only 4 lines in my file. Then I save. I'm getting this one. What's about the whole entire spacing? There is another additional space, right? There are 3 spaces, but in my file, only 1 space is available. The reason behind that is every read line, there is a new line is enabled. This is the tutorial. This is the first line. After that, the new line will be here. That's the default behavior of the read line. That's why we are getting anonymous spaces in this case. Okay. If you have any questions so far? Answer to this question. I have only 4 lines. What if I add another read line? What will be the output? Look into the chat. I have only 4 lines by file, but I added 5 read lines. Then will be okay. I'll answer this question then. For now, answer to the question. There are only 4 lines. Then I added 5 read lines. What will be the output? Into the chat. You are continuing with me, right? Please type the same thing in your own file as well. Then otherwise, you won't get my points. What if I add another read line? Is the question. Please put into the chat. Yeah, we can start after that. active. I added here 5 read lines, but the file there are only 4 lines. I added extra 1 read line. The code file. Think about that and taking the response. Then you run the file. See that this is the content for extra data type. Yeah, it's correct. This is the content for 4 read lines. If I add another read line, you can get any errors or anything. Simply you are getting extra space, extra time. That's the case. Okay. This is the reading file. Remember that in the coding side, we are opening the file. Opening file means we are getting some storage from the our CPU machine. After the opening file, the space is not free. The space is getting for our purpose. Remember that without closing the file, this space will not free. Remember that our file should be closed. Our memory free. Or free the memory. If the file size is very large, this will be a very huge mistake without closing the file. For close the file, the function is close. Our variable name is file object. Then dot close is the function for closing the file. But that every time we should close the file. Otherwise, the space will not be free. Save the file and the output. The output is not changed because of that. Close is not affected to the output. This is for reallocation. It is the opening the file, then some space is getting there. With close function, we will fill that space. So just remember that we are reading the line, reading another line, then file should be closed. This is the proper way for the files. Remember that one. Okay. But this is the repetition, right? I added several read lines manually. It's not suitable. Solution is the looping. I can loop the entire scenario. I can use whatever that. So, line you can use for loop for that. Then the if my variable is now file underscore object. Then with the for loop, line by line, the output will be written. Let's see the output. Yeah, this is the output. We are not getting any extra spaces after that. So that we are getting because of that read line. can use a for loop for that. Try this one as well. We open the file, load it into the variable called file underscore div. For every line, we are using print function. We are using for loop. After that, we should close the file. Only we are using the reading mode inside the reading mode. This is the reading mode. Do you have any questions? If you have any question, please ask or put into the chat. This is the reading mode. Then we will see the writing. Writing to the file. Same as previous, but we should change the R to the right W. This means writing mode. Now we are in the writing mode. And the function for writing is write. Not write function. Can write anything. Right. Let's see that. This is the content. We have file right now. After that, I will write object dot write. Right. I'm writing is the new content. This is the new content. That's all. I'm writing this one to my file handling.txt file. After that, we should close the file. Save that one. Then we'll see. Nothing happens. Why is that? We are only writing to the function. We are not getting any output. We are only write the function. Let's see the file. We open file. What happened? Entire text will be disappeared and our text will be override. Remember that the writing mode, the new content is overriding. That's the dangerous case, right? Entire thing will be disappeared. Replace the new content with the existing things. This is the new content. If I change the content again, this is the thing. You can write anything. Still, nothing happens. But inside the file, see this one. This is the new content. This is the another thing to my file. This is concatenating the string or the concept concatenate. Concatenating means if we didn't mention into the new line, the content is added to the same line. By on line, then add backslash n. Then I'm saying that after that, go to the new line. Then add whatever we can. If I save the file, now all the things are separated with the lines. Did you get the point? That's why That's how we are writing to the file. From the file, we are writing to the file. So try function is this is a function, default function for writing to the file. Inside the file, we can write anything. But remember that we didn't mention the backslash n, which means go to the new line. All the content will be back to the same line. This is the writing. Any questions so far? Let's see about the appending file. Before appending, I think R plus. But if I try to read the content, I will let's go. To read directly, I will the content. What will be happen? The more this right, put into the chat. Will be the scenario. Will we get the content? Will we get any error? You can say anything. No matter if it is right or wrong. Put into the chat. What would be the scenario? The mode is writing mode. I'm writing to the file. That's okay. After that, I'm trying to read the entire content from the file. Closing is by default, we should use our freeze our area. Into the chat, I will see your answers. What will be the behavior? This is please response. Otherwise, this response to the. Or you can turn on the mic and you can see, you can see it. You do execute the file. Think about that. Okay, is the correct one? Let's see. This one. So reply. Okay. Right. Then we have not readable. Why is that unsupported operation? Not the regulator, right? Unsupported operation. Why is that? I am trying to the mode is writing. I'm trying to only write. The reading is not supported for writing. That's why we are getting this crazy output. You get the point. Then how can I solve this problem? I want write and read same time. That's why we are getting as R plus. R plus means reading and writing. Both things we can use. If I save the file, okay, nothing happens. So I still read like and I use the read and content. I wrote to the file. Save the file. System on. open both reading and writing. Pointer will be beginning in the file. I know the reason because the pointer will be the beginning. Then I should run a loop for every line. That's why we are. I set the content file. Then for line content. Now, yeah. Right. I wrote the file. Same time, I'm trying to happens. I think support at this case. However, the R plus is the mode for reading and writing. Yes, this reading and writing. Before the writing, let's try to read. Yeah, can read file, but after that cannot write file, but read the file. It is supported for both reading and writing. Then I think file is ordered, right? After that, we are writing again and again. That's why we are getting another content because every time I run the file, content will be entire thing will be over, right? Then not supported. However, the R plus is the reading and writing mode. Remember this thing. Try to do this one. Mainly, we are using reading, writing, and appending. Appending means the mode is A. Let's try the thing. I delete this one. This is the my file mode. I will change to the append. The function for append is also write. Remember that. For both writing and append, function is the write. Right. I will write another file underscore object. This is appending. I'm writing to the file. This is the updated content. This is not included in my file. Also, I'll write my file object file. File will have whatever. I save the file, nothing happens because I append it to the file. But if we check the file, check this one. This is the new content. This is the another thing in my file. This is already included, right? But the thing is, this is updated content. File handling is visiting, is appending. Appending means without losing our existing content, we will merging all the things together. This is the thing. If I save the file again, I adding all the things. File handling is in the new line because I added /n. Is that clear? Appending means without losing the existing content, we are adding new things to our file. The mode should be A. The write is the function for both writing and appending. Read is for reading file. Is that clear? Any questions or anything to clarify? I think all things are good. Let's check the exceptions. What are the exceptions? Exception means if I move the code, then my number is 5. Then print my number. But I forcefully remove the parentheses. Then if I save the file and with the file, the program will be right without closing bracket. Opening bracket is first never close. This is the error. But this is not the exception, right? There are two things you should understand. This is the error. Error means syntax error. This is a syntax error. There is our wrong. Exception means different thing. In the error, also we will get the hardware error. Okay. Then exception is a different story. Exception means we are not getting any syntax error or any other error, but while we are run the code, we are getting something different behavior. For example, you all know we cannot divide any number with the 0. We cannot divide by 0. But the thing is, if I add this thing, my number is 5. I'm trying to print my number, my number is 0. If I save the file, this is syntactically correct. Any number divided by another number. It's not the case. The parentheses are also here. Print function is here. All things are good. But if I run the file, 0 division error is division by 0. This is logical error. Exception is here. 0 division error. Division by 0 is not supported. This kind of things we are calling as exceptions, right? This is one kind of 0 division error. This is one error. Then we can handle the exceptions. We are handling the exceptions. We cannot avoid the exceptions, but we can use alternative path for that. I one first number plus number is 10. Then what? Second number is I'll get 0. I can choose either one of the path. I'm checking if the second number is not 0, divide. Otherwise, we will get another output. Exception is not suitable for our application. Why is that? Suppose we have a website or whatever application. If I click one of the button, page will be disappear. Basic thing, right? But we should respond to if the web page is broken, then display a message. This is under construction or something went wrong, whatever. We will handle the exception. Same thing we are doing in this case. If the second number not equal, we can second number is equal to 0, we can print division by 0 is not supported. Like this, you can use any message. Yes, otherwise we can divide now first number by like this. If I run the program again, division by 0 is not supported as output. Why is that? The second number is 0. We are checking if the second number is equal to 0 or not. This is correct. Then inside the if block, we are printing this division by 0 is not supported. That's why we are getting this output. Otherwise, I change the number as 4, second number as 4. I save the file and run. Then the answer will be here. Why is that? If the second number is 0, yes or no? The answer is no. Then go to the else part. Then print in the body. Inside the body, we are printing first number divided by second number. The answer is 2.5. That's the whole process for this one. We are handled the 0 division error. Is that clear? That's how we are handling exceptions. Exceptions should be handled. Same thing we can use with the try except. We are using we use the if else, right? This is not the suitable for handling exceptions. We are using try and except. We'll see the try print first by second except. I'll explain after that. I save the file. Answer be here. If I change the second number to 0, then answer is 0 division is not. What's the behavior of these things? We should always add our logic inside the try block. This is a try block. we are trying to do something. Okay, that's why we are calling as a try block. We are trying to divide first number by second number, and we are printing the output. If something getting wrong, immediately except block will be enabled. Okay, this is working as a if else, but the thing is, by default we are trying to do something. If the process is getting wrong, automatically go to the except block. Inside the except block, we should handle the exception. If I getting wrong, then we should print the zero division is not supported or not, can't divide by zero in this case. Did you get the point? We can customize with the custom number. The first number is not changed, then can use second number and get as an input. But input is always string, then you can convert the can get the second number as our input as well. Then try to do that. For 2.5. But if I add the zero, division is zero division is not support. Can use this one as well. Is that clear? That's how we are use try and except blocks. Similar to this is similar to else, but we are trying to do something. If we are getting in the try block, we can use anything, right? And this is started. This is started. This is my line. All the things printed. But in this case, if this there is an exception in this line, automatically except block will be enabled. Okay. In this case, we are getting number as an input. Try. Okay. Yeah, in the handling exception process, in this case, we are getting the number as a user input. Then we are trying to divide the zero by the number which we are entered as input. Then always we can use this output. We can we are opening the file. Then with the reading mode, we can use any except there are different kind of exceptions. This is zero division error, IO error, input output error. Different kind of exceptions are here. We can use any except. I'll copy the code and I'll explain with the to find how is the value we are getting the input, but always we should convert to the input. Then we are trying to do something which is divided by saved in the S. Also printing the content of abc.txt or whatever with the reading mode. Except we are seeing different kind of exception. Therefore, we are mentioning the except type zero division error. In this case, if the error type is zero division error, printing we cannot divide by zero. I will add another exception type called IO error. IO error. Then I put that message, can't find the file or whatever. What's happening in this case? We are getting a number as an input. We are trying to divide by a number, 100 divided by number, as well as we trying to read the content of the abc.txt file. There are two types of exception we are mentioning in this case, zero division error and also IO error. If exception is zero division error, we are printing we cannot divide by zero. The IO error, we are printing can't find the file. If I save the file and execute this one, I write it as a line print. No, print. This is IO. Let's highlight 6 abc.txt r. Why is that? We are printing, right? Printing. File dot open. Always. We should open the file. Then please open the file abc.txt with the reading mode. Now, if I save the file and run the file, can't find the file. Why is that? We don't have the abc.txt file right now. That's why we are getting directly IO error. This has a switch, right? Then if getting as a IO error is not a line by line execution in this except cases, then we are getting an exception in this line. What's the type is IO error, input output error. We cannot find. Then directly we are running the IO exception. Look, inside this one, can't find the file. That's why we are getting this error. Okay. Did you get the point? If you have any question, please ask. Then I try to divide by zero. If I add 0, we cannot divide by 0. We cannot divide by 0. Why is that? We are trying to divide by 0, then initially we are entering to the 0 division error except low. Inside this one, printing, we cannot divide by 0. That's why we are getting this out. Okay. Answer to this question, divide by 0 is okay. Also, abc.txt is also not in our machine. Then why didn't get both the lines? We are only getting, we cannot divide by 0. Why didn't get? Can't find the file. Any reason? Put into the chat, then we will see the answers. Why is that? We only got the we cannot divide by 0 message. Why didn't get the can't find the file message? A simple question, right? Into the chat and I will check. You are doing the same thing with me, right? Please do the same thing with me. Then you will get what I'm talking about. Okay. Sequence. Sequence means the sequence is here. This one. This one is also in the sequence. What about sequence? This will be printed, but this will not printed. The IO error didn't occur. Yeah, IO error didn't occur. Why is that? IO error didn't occur. That's why we didn't print the can't find the file. My question is why IO error is not occur? In the try block, we are trying to divide by number as well as open the file. Why only we are getting 0 division error without getting IO error? So close. File was there. No. No. Suppose the abc.txt file is not in the case. The desktop, I don't have any file. Yeah. I don't have the file. abc.txt is not there. Then, so close. Try to think. Yeah, good. Divided by 0 is okay. At the same time, abc.txt file is also not in my machine. Okay. But we got this one. Indentation, no. It's about indentation. Indentation. The same indentation I followed. It's not the case. Try again. Think differently. Think about it. I am getting only This one, zero division error. Like if first condition is fulfilled, so the code has finished. 99% is true. Yeah, code will be finished. Reason behind this one. Let's see. We are trying to divide by zero. Then this is the zero division error. Immediately we are enabling except into the except zero division error. Then printing divide by zero. Remember that if we are getting any exception, program will be terminated. That's why we are not executing this line. That's why we are not getting into the IO error exception block. Is that clear? We are trying to divided by zero. Then this is a zero division error. Then we are printing, we cannot divide by zero. After the exception is happened, immediately program will be end. Program will be terminated. Then this line never be executed. That's why we are not getting the IO error exception in out. This is the reason for getting only we cannot divide by zero message. Is that clear? Every time if the exception is happen, program will be terminated. We are handling the exception though. Then if suppose we are not handled that part, then the output will be given as an error, then program will be ended for both times. If we are handled or not, program will be terminated after happen any exception. Is that clear? That's why we are not getting the this line. Okay. Think or output. Any questions regarding file handling? Any other question? I got several messages regarding Simon 7 to submit. Please can email details, then we will see what we can do. Normally we are not doing the extension. For special cases we can consider separately, then the student, particular student, you can send an email, then we will check. So, any questions so far regarding the file handling? It's not hard done. I thought that then we missed the lab 7, right? Functions. We have time, then we quickly go to the functions as well. Then you can easily submit the assignment as well. It's already done, but you can get knowledge about further function questions. Okay, let's talk about functions. Other functions. So this one, function. Function is a block of code, right? This is used for common thing. Then suppose we should do something every time. This is not a loop. I will explain about the difference between function and loop with the code. This is not a loop, but the thing is that if we have any common thing, we can loop with the function. All the times the syntax is here. We are using the def keyword for introducing our function. Always we are using def space the function name. You can use any name for function. In this case, print me is the function. Print me is the function. Inside the function, we will printing or printing anything or something. Okay. This is the out. If I save the file and execute the file, see the output. Nothing happened. Why is that? We are defining the function, but we should call the function. We are saying that we are calling the function. Then we should call the function. Print me. Just at the name and the parenthesis. That's how we are calling the function. If I save the file, then we are printing. How the program will be run. This is defining, right? If I defining function below that line, what will be happen? Okay, answer the question. I defined the function below after the calling. After calling, what will be the scenario? You will get the output, or you will get the error. What would be the scenario? This chat. Check. And define the function after the calling. Before the calling, on the case after the calling, what will be the scenario? Okay, let's see. Error. What's there? Yeah, error is what kind of error and why we are getting an error? We don't know. Don't know why we are getting error. Name error. Okay, let's see. Okay. Remember that print me is the function, but in this line, we don't know what's the print me, right? That's why we are getting the name error. Answer is correct. We should define the function before we are calling. Always remember that. But the thing is, the code will be execute something like this. First, we are defining the function, but we are not getting anything. After the calling, we are getting inside this function, print me, or the print me function. Then this is the function. The program will be find the function name, and if the function is here, the function is not here, getting the same error. Same error. If the function is here, go inside and do anything. In this case, we are printing anything. Okay, that's how the function is working. Always remember that def is a keyword. This is the print means the function name. What's about this? About this. Always remember that in function, we are returning to the code line. Return to the code line. Okay? We are calling the printing function. Then defining the printing function, we are printing. After that, the content is override. Then after return to the cursor point. Then after program is over, then the program will be terminated. Okay. Right. Is that clear? Do you have any question? Please ask. Okay. Let's see. Always remember that then function is here. We should call the function. But the thing is, before the calling, we should define the function. Function definition should be here. Okay. After that, we can pass parameters for function as well. What about the parameters? Parameter means we can use any name for function parameters. Or this is hello and any name. Okay. Okay. Fine. What will be happen in this case? I'm calling without parameter, but function is accepting one parameter inside the function, printing hello, whatever we are passing the value to the function. But the thing is, we didn't pass any parameter to the function. Excepting one parameter, we must provide the particular number of parameters when we are calling. Then we should add the parameter, pass the parameter, the function. Then if I save the file, hello, and the name, whatever you are passed with the function. Then I'll call again and again. You can call again and again with the different parameters. The need of the function is that we can reuse the code. The printing is only once we are defining, but we can use again and again with the several parameters. Then first one is my name is assigned to my name parameter. Then replace the value with the past value. This case, the Dishan is the name. This is when we are calling the print me function. The variable name is Dishan. Then if we print the line hello and replace with the past value, that's why we are getting similar out. Is that clear? This is the function behavior and function parameters. We can use any number of parameters. You can use whatever you can use. Then use the then I will custom the message. This is and again whatever age years old. Years old. Can write again whatever you are doing as a role. The three parameters are accepting, then we must three parameters as our input. Same thing. Also, whatever ABC, whatever thing. Then if I save the file, yeah, overriding values, right? The name is here, the age is here, role is here. Then the second case, name, age, and role is override. We are using one time to define. But the thing is, what we can use loop, right? Loop means we are doing same thing again and again. But in this case, we are not doing it again and again. We are defining some core block or main block, common block. Then we are customizing the block with our different parameters. That's the difference between looping and functioning. Is that clear? Program will be run in this way. First, print function call with the parameters inside the parameter function. We are printing with the pass parameter. Then return to the call function point. After that, we are checking the line, then calling again, then go to the function again with the parameters, then printing and return to the point. But what if we didn't mention the role? We are getting error, right? We should pass same thing. But we can use something like this. We can assign default parameter. This is called as default parameter. This is a default parameter. If we didn't provide any parameter, default parameter is replaced with the role. Otherwise, override the role with our own parameter. That's how we are running this one. Without providing role, we are getting the default one. Did you get the point? Returning thing. We can directly return something. Right. For example, at function, accepting A and B as a parameter. In this function, we are returning A plus. Then we are calling the add function, the DA5. What will be the output? Nothing happens because we didn't print anything. In this case, we are returning the output, right? We are calling the add function. 3 is replaced. A assigning to A variable, 5 is assigning to variable B. Then inside the add function, we are returning A plus B, which is 3 plus 5. Returning A. We can catch the return output to a variable. Final. We are storing the whole return value to the final answer variable. Then after that, we can print the final answer. Something like this. Save the file. It will be print. We can catch the return value, then assign to a variable, then we can use variable for printing or whatever we can. This is the returning statement. Any questions so far? We can use default value as said. A is getting as 100, B is getting as 200 by default. We are adding 3 and 4, then the output will be override. After the printing, I call the function again without any value. Then we are printing final answer again with the output. Put into the chat. The first answer is okay. So the output is 8. What will be the second answer? We didn't provide any parameter values, but we are calling add function without any parameter. If we are getting an error, this mention it as said. What will be the scenario? Put into the chat. What would be the output? I didn't provide any value as a parameter, but we are calling that function. The answer will be 300. Why is that? Let's see the output first. 300. We are getting default value as a parameter values, while we are not included the value as string. Then in that function, 100 is for A, 200 is B. Okay, returning A plus B, which is 300. Printing 3. That's why we are getting 300. That clear, right? After that, the variables scope is very important. There are two scopes, which is global variables and local variables. Let's see that one. I have a variable x code. I have a function, another function. This is the function name, not the proper name. Inside the x function, value will be 4. I'm printing the x function value. Also, calling the another function, then print the value. After the calling, x, what will be the outcome? What's the first output? What's the second output? Ashmi is commenting. What will be the first output? What will be the second output? Put into the chat. You are following me, right? Then put into the chat what are the two outputs. X is initially 5. Inside the function, the value is 4. I'm printing before and after. Otherwise, I will unmute people one by one and ask them what's the better choice. Into the chat door. I will unmute people and ask.
Vertical line is no qualified. Horizontal line is slope to the parallel line equals slope.
Please response, please. Otherwise, I will unmute people one by one.
Domain में x not equal में. It's not equal. Equal में
The people.
ये वाला उत्तर है. Function का design one output page input.
Is one answer. Then
Range
all the people are saying the output is 5. Any different answers? Okay, let's see the output first. Then I will explain. Both the times the 5 will be answered. Why is that? X is 5, right? X is 5 initially. We are printing the directly X. This is 5. We are calling the function, another function. Within another function, X is defined as a 4. After the returning to this value, by default, x will be not changed. Why is that? This x is only available inside the function. Inside the function, if I print the x value, it will be 4. Okay, it will be 4. It will be 4. Why is that? This x is a local variable. This is only for this function. This is global one. Before the initialization, I print the value. It will be 5. Print x. Yeah. X is not. Okay. 9 or 9. The x is not defined before initialization. Then this x is a local variable. This x is a global variable. That's why we are printing the 4 inside the function and printing the 5 outside the function. The scope is very important for us. Then in this case, g is 20. My function also g is 20. This is global variable. This can get all the times 20. But in this case, g variable 20 inside the function g variable override with this 100. But the thing is, the 100 is valid for inside my function only. Outside the function, default 20 value will be getting as a g variable. Is that clear? This is the difference between local and global variables. Built-in functions are, you already know, in the Python. Some functions are already built in for our purposes. Then we should add. I added function for adding two values. Same thing we can use. We can do with the sum function. Sum 2 and 3 4. Subject is sum of two values here. Sum of a list value. The sum is predefined function. Then we can use max from particular value. Max is 4. 2 or 4. In the 2 and 4, the max value is 4. Max is predefined function. We can use mean. It should be 2. We can use square root. In the tutorial, square thing is value should be here. This is applicable for only for math module. We should import the math module first. We can use round 2.5. So is the rounded value. Always we are getting the flow value. That's why we are getting the 2 as our sum max round. These are the typical built-in functions. We can check the other Python built-in functions. This case, absolute value, getting the value without minus or plus, or any binary ASCII value, by array, by character value, delta value, help x int. We are using print. This is also built-in function. So the write, read is also built-in functions. Different kind of functions we are using for different purposes. Can see the entire list. Okay. This is the tutorial 7, which is previously functions, but we covered today. You have the lab assignment for file handling. Please submit before, I think, 30. Yeah, 30th Monday. If you have any question or any doubt, please ask from me or Dishani and give the response. For assignment 7, date submission, student, please send me an email. I will check and we will see what we can do. Okay, let's wind up the session. If you have any question before the wind up the tutorial session. I think all are good. Okay, we will stop the session. Thank you.